I am probably going to look back at this in about 10 years' time and cringe so hard. Greetings, people. Since this video is on YouTube, I assume most of you don't know what the Neighbourhood is, so here is a little bit of context. The Neighbourhood is a Discord server that is for music lovers and shit, you get the fucking idea. And the iceberg basically contains lore that's within or behind the server, and there are 10 levels. And the lower you go, the more niche shit gets, and this video is an explanation behind everything on the iceberg. And once again, thank you to Kyle for making the iceberg in the first place. While yes it is, not everyone within the server is a maggot or a fan of Slipknot. However, many newcomers get confused and think this is the official Slipknot server. It's not. Not versus the official Discord for Slipknot. Oh yeah, and for those who don't know what Slipknot is, again, this is on YouTube, so I don't know. They're a massive metal band with they have around 12 million followers on Spotify, I think. And yeah. Oh, I wonder why we have so many unhinged kids. No, this refers to the Slipknot Reddit page and the Neighbourhood having a partnership, and well, most people that come to the Neighbourhood actually come from the subreddit, and I don't really know why, but most of them are shitheads, and they mainly come to talk with people, I guess, since it's easier than Reddit, because it's mainly just posts, and Reddit sucks. However, we do see all the posts that come from Reddit because there's a channel for it, and some of them are very cringe to say the least, and they're entertaining. While the Neighbourhood is known to have its fair share of cults, groups, and whatever, none of them have grown to be the size of the Jim Payne cult. At least, I don't think they have. I don't even know how many fucking people are in the cult, and I'm the person who started it. And, well, Jim Payne is an emoji in the server. It used to be the most popular, but now it's not, unfortunately. There is a bunch of stuff behind the Jim Payne cult, like the anthem or whatever, but it'll take me like 20 minutes to go through everything, so I'm just gonna keep it short. Ah yes, the Hall of Shame, the space where the most out of context or random moments go. It's really just a thing of brilliance, in my opinion. I don't know about you guys. Listening to the Knot now. Fuck, I wanna be them. I would be a monster on stage, screaming my guts out until I vomited. Don't care, banging my head. I would give anything to do what Slipknot does. It is my dream to go on a stage and go fucking apeshit with sick music and my band, not kidding. I wanna break things and scream. I love Slipknot so much, they inspire me on such a deep level. Where does the context for this one even begin? We get a lot of cringy 13-year-olds because we're a Slipknot server and cringy edgelord 13-year-olds like Slipknot, so yeah, and this copy pasta might be the most famous to come from this server because it was derived from this random edgy kid, and yeah, it's some r/14 and I'm deep type shit basically. How the fuck do you pronounce a boba ses? Anyways, it's a funny misspelling of Bone Sesh, who's a rap artist. I believe Akuso is the one to come up with this, I'm not too sure though. And it's a pretty big meme in the server. It's also a special role in the server, which I'm about to get to. There are many special roles you can get within the server if you spent enough time typing away or whatever. There's the Big Dumb role, Aiden's Beans role, or Juno's Society role. There's way too much lore behind Lame, but Lame is far too mysterious and we can't know all about it. So, here's what we have so far. His lore is intertwined with a part of Morgan's, and they had both shaved their heads and become like Heisenberg, 2 days apart from each other. Perhaps the oldest copy pasta in this server, it originated when not one person decided to leave the server because they couldn't level up fast enough, because you have to get to level 2 to get image perms in this server. And it became the most well-known copy pasta of the server, I guess. While this happened recently, very few people know about it. Balls was an active user who got banned after jokingly threatening to dox someone. The person started shit with Balls and instead of getting warned, Balls got banned, and couple of people were like, bring back balls, because people love balls. Why wouldn't they? And, yeah, they're still banned. So you know how I mentioned that 13-year-olds really like Slipknot? Well, they also really like Korn and Limp Bizkit and other new metal bands, naturally, because they're edgy and they want to be edgy. And the other new metal servers are crawling with these edgy 13-year-olds who like to ship Jonathan Davis and Fred Durst and whatever. And they're always like, oh my god, he's so hot and whatever. And we're like the one server that isn't full of these kids, which is cool. Bro, if it wasn't for Slipknot to get out my anger, a lot of people will be dead from my hands, and trust me when I say that I'm not the only one. So you can shut the fuck up and go listen to Sakura, you dumb fuck. Slipknot, it's too heavy for your small brain to handle. And don't even answer, huh? While this didn't originate from the server, it's just some random Instagram comment that was posted in the meme channel by the one and only Ellie, and, well, it became a meme and copy-pasta the server again. During the heights of the Slipknot NGK drama, no one would stop like shit-talking him, shitting on him, everything. And since nobody would stop, the mods just decided to blacklist the word, so nobody could bring him up again, and it's still blacklisted even a year later. In August of 2021, when the server's first anniversary was a month away, the mods and admins decided to celebrate by holding a poll and asking the community what Slipknot song to cover. I have no clue how many people took part, and there was a video that was supposed to come with it, but it was never made due to the lack of clips from people. And in November of 2021, 3 months later, the community cover was released since it had to be mixed and whatever. Well, a guy named Trust Guy randomly decided to join the server, and for some reason he DM'd Egg out of all the people that he wanted to buy the server for like £100. Not even a mod or admin. Egg. Yes, I know. Kyle is always bawling because he's based. I don't really know what else to say here. We call Morgan Bandolph because he's a wizard and he plays bass, so that gives him the name of Bandolph. He also is very old and has 2 kids, making him probably the eldest person in the server. We miss you, Grandpa. A while back, someone posted an image of a cat in a cheeseburger box because it was cute, it was harmless. Well, it was deemed as animal cruelty and that person got banned, and that made like 10 people get pissed off, and they either got banned for being pissed off or they just left. Once upon a time, there were 2 trolls. Shogun banned one, Victor banned the other. I'm lying, Victor banned Reichlam instead by accident. While we also have the Jim Payne cult, there's also the Croy cult figures. Now, the reason I say figures is because no one really leads the cult. It's really just a bunch of people who just spam Croy all the time. Well, everyone does it at some point, to be honest. A long time back, there was a president role, and a president was elected by the citizens of the neighborhood. The president elected in question was Meftones, or Meth. But the president role became forgotten after Meth left or got banned. I'm not too sure what happened. And some people mention it to this day, some people do not, but it's mainly forgotten. Oh god, remember how I mentioned that all edgy kids like Slipknot and nu metal and they're in the other servers? You have the edgelords that are transphobic sometimes, you have the edgelords that think they have demons inside of them, and you have the fetish shits, the weirdos that I don't like to talk about. This was the era in which many of the staff and various members had set their profiles to mimic various SCPs. For example, Kyle was SCP-0049. The Ford Model 8 memes originated after Luna ordered or was saving up for, the Ford Model 8 mask, because Luna's a war geek. I think it ended on day 351, which was the day the Ford Model 8 arrived. Another era in which many of the staff and various members had set their nicknames to or contained or simply just were various fruits. For example, Kyle was a melon. Shogun was a lemon. That rhymes. Why? Most of the user entries that are on the iceberg are members that were once really active and got banned, or they left on their own. Examples contain of Wayne, Torg, the transphobe, Ball, Merc, people like that. The Drain Gang were a select group of individuals who often sent drain unclogging videos from Mano, and it was from the YouTube channel Drain Addict. They then went on to create a group chat for the latest Drain Addict posts and dubbed it the Drain Gang. There are several neighborhood staff members that have left over the years, including Dark the Fox, British Politeness Police, or Chris, and Robin. They were chill individuals who have since moved on to new ventures, but they were also there when the first neighborhood was created, so that makes them OGs, I guess. The sign gang was an era in which many of the users had sign followed by a dedicated number as their nicknames. For example, there was Sign 2, Sign 11, etc. It was one of the earliest members of many groups and cults forming in the server. A very estranged individual from a very long time ago. Don't know if they were real or not, but they exhibited real suspicious behavior, such as venting very often. Even when being asked not to, they would meow for no reason, standardized cringe shit, contradicting their own statements often, and they were being very jumpy towards entering voice chats with random people. Fred was a random user who would continuously leave and rejoin the server when under scrutiny or at random points throughout the server's lifespan. The weird behavior was never truly explained even after the user was banned. They also frequently shared a scary amount of information that shouldn't have been shared on a Discord server. The Lucas Core and Juno Core playlists are the self-proclaimed best playlists of the people in the neighborhood. And it's dominated by Juno and Lucas because they often boast about how superior their music taste is and how they're better than everyone else. Most of the OG members or members who are like level 13, no life and above don't really listen to Slipknot anymore. This includes myself and others, and well, in my opinion, Slipknot is just a phase and you grow out of it after like a year or two, so that's my explanation on it really. Everybody's fave basement-dwelling goblin. Not inherently evil, but he does often share his less than popular political views. Would frequently share random memes and YouTube videos with random members of the servers with no explanation. And he also created the Drain Gang and often borders on the grey line of bannable offenses and acceptable behavior. Another weirdo whose various statements often contradicted each other or didn't add up in the long run. He was a real pain in the ass to most of the staff and took up a lot of their time. The original r/Slipknot server was created in 2018 and it was the original home for, well, a small percentage of the server now. It was the birthplace of many friendships, emotes, ideas, and the overall layout of the neighborhood. It fell victim to the Cal drama. Oh boy, it's story time. Cal was the original owner of r/Slipknot. In 2020, she went on a rage-fueled bender of banning her entire staff team, believing they were planning a coup because they were not happy with the way she was treating the server. The said team was the OG staff members of the neighborhood, and they were completely justified in their beliefs of Cal and their concern for the server. Yet they suffered the price, which led to the purge of 2020. The title really speaks for itself, really. After the Cal drama, the server was purged, the old r/Slipknot server, and I think a couple days later the neighborhood was created in replacement of the old one. A server created by the British Politeness Police and others, and they exposed the behind the scenes of the whole event of the Cal drama in order to explain the banning of the staff team and the eventual shutdown of r/Slipknot. They exposed Cal's weird behaviors and eventual meltdown. Michael and Landy were individuals who were both active and within both the original server and the neighborhood for a brief period. While often held in high regard within the staff, they sometimes did push the line for what is fair and what is unfair behavior. Ultimately were either banned or left due to said behavior, and no one has seen them since. A fairly normal user who was one of the few black metal enjoyers during the early days of the server. They were eventually banned for sending gore to one of the members of the server despite the staff wishes for them not to. Another old user who was banned for frequently sending slurs in chat despite being an overall fine user apparently. They encouraged and thought nothing was wrong with encouraging a young member of the server riding on top of an elevator while it was moving, which would potentially put them in danger, right? Yeah, he still encouraged them. Old members of both the original server and the neighborhood who were oftentimes perfectly fine, but they ended up being banned due to conducting a mini-raid within the server and posting not safe for work images, which led to their ban. Oftentimes they tried to appeal said ban, but when denied, they sent images of people eating food to whichever staff member they contacted. By now it is a well-known fact in the server that Juno absolutely despises men. They always say it once every now and then I absolutely hate men. I mean, there's the Juno and Matthew banter where they fight Matthew all the time. I don't think there is anything I fucking fear more than the goddamn Joey fetishists. These motherfuckers will simp over him, make fun of his height, and not let the poor man rest in peace. It is truly horrifying, and it really makes me regret being a part of this fandom. New Halo was one of the OGs of the original server who, despite being a normal active member, was actually outed to be a pedophile or child predator with an ongoing trial to this day, I believe. Accidentally leaked themselves upon admitting to having dreams that involved them hurting young individuals, which spurred staff to contact the authorities and ultimately arrest New Halo. The full case can actually be found online to those with morbid curiosity. They were an old events manager that acted very strangely towards minors in the server. They were eventually banned for the said behavior and they have faded into obscurity, never to be seen again. Somehow Egg came to the conclusion that the bees must be living in a communist society, as they all worked, but we never see formal payment, just equal housing opportunity, you know. And there was no formal leader, and they had a military force which consisted of the swap bees and a lot of other things. While this is more a Reddit lore, it's still related to us because we're the subreddit's Discord server. But u/Obunaga Cream was a young child user on Reddit who decided to post a shirtless video on the Slipknot Reddit, asking if their growl was any good. The ultimately free display of their chests and young nature led to the post to be deleted, and general concern for the kid to be displayed as the choice to post was questionable at best. Another old user who was a classic class of borderline rule-breaking behavior. Very opinionated, very aggressive, and overall exhibited very adverse behavior. They were eventually banned for said behavior, and they haven't been seen from or heard from again or since. Classic transphobe user who was banned, infamous enough to the point that they garnered the nickname Talk the Transphobe. Stereotypical cringe transphobic shit. Don't be transphobic. Two motherfucking idiots who just spammed slurs all the time and they were trolls. And for some reason they were unbanned, and then they were just banned the next day. Like fools. I don't know what the mods were thinking when they unbanned them, but here we are. Wayne was a prolific member of the server and was the resident furry. He was chill more often, but had the tendency to get hella passive-aggressive under certain circumstances. And while he wasn't an unpleasant person, he was apparently banned or he left, and he has since disappeared and nobody knows what happened to him. Black Vomit is an extremely well-known user in the Slipknot community, well known for leaking earlier stuff, but he is a terrible fucking person. He hated everyone in the neighborhood, and he would make like monthly raids to the neighborhood, by the way. And he would dedicate entire weeks to raiding, and He would have countless fucking ult, and he would also send gore to people. He was what, like 16 as well? Fucking no life. The title speaks for itself once again. Nep collects teeth, and not in a weird way, but like a general gothic hobby kind of deal. It adds to Nep's chill strangeness. Alejandro was schizophrenic motherfucker who joined the server, and he made absolutely zero sense, but he also made sense, I guess. Eventually he got banned for asking a miner to draw not so safe for work drawings, but he was strange, very strange. Well, we aren't larger, but we are more active than Notverse, because Notverse is actually pretty dead until like Clown comes along and then does one of his Q&As. Notverse has 11,000 members, we have about 8 to 9,000, so yeah. A while ago, the owner of Notverse contacted Nep and either asked for the neighborhood to be shut down or for Nep to help them set up their own server. Regardless of which it was, Nep declined, and the Notverse server has faded into obscurity since then, which is kind of weird. An old staff member of the original r/Slipknot server had such a hold on the server that he had emotes of his face within it. His emotes have been since lost to time, unfortunately, but yeah. This was a role implemented solely on the grounds that the r/Slipknot staff team was so shit that at some point certain members basically had to do the staff's job for them while not having the title of mod. They were essentially spies within the community. Taz and Krong have been working in the mines for several years, and they first worked in the same mine in Kuzbass, Russia, but they had to flee to Mongolia because of an incident. And before they worked in Kuzbass, they worked another job as well. And this guy, Zambul, helped them get to Mongolia because both of them were in probation, and they now both work in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. Legend has it that these two are actually in a relationship. But no, they are constantly fighting with each other in the server. Whether it's just simple insults or biblically accurate shit, I don't really know. Flint was an old user who was chill with most of the staff. They ran events for a certain period of time, and they were prolific due to their bird PFP. They have since left for new ventures, and yeah. The opposing Slipknot server, We Are Not Your Kind, implemented a self-imposed feud with the original r/Slipknot server. While certain members were active in both servers, it wasn't rare for the members of We Are Not Your Kind to attempt to raid the r/Slipknot server for strange and petty reasons. Mano is notorious for his fucked up foods, which examples contain banana ramen and hot dogs and ramen and other shit. Lucas's fucked up pizza also falls under this category because they made pizza so badly it fucking got removed from r/shitty food porn. This refers to the original very shitty staff team. It is a combination of the OG neighborhood staff, Cal, and other members such as Disasterpiece. Cal, Disasterpiece, and others were far from pleasant individuals and were generally regarded as ass-shats. Despite the two being complete polar opposites, they are indeed siblings, and it comes as a shock to many. Failures of Evolution was the breeding ground for many trolls who targeted r/Slipknot. It's overall a very strange and obscure server that has a very slight link to r/Slipknot and the neighborhood purely due to the people who use said server and its original purpose. It is indeed a very strange place. Alright, this wasn't on the iceberg, but I decided to throw it in there because he was simply the most annoying kid to ever visit this server. This motherfucker would not shut up for 1 second about how Metallica soloed every fucking band in the universe. And we're talking about band versus band or song versus song. He would always say, oh, Metallica is better, Metallica is better. And oh my god, he would not shut the fuck up, it was so annoying. FaZe was the youngest member of the original server staff team. He was typically at odds with said staff team and would frequently trash talk them in separate servers and group chats. He threw a hissy fit in regards to leaks of old demos or such and was inevitably told by individuals to chill the fuck out. He was eventually sent a link to Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley disguised as the leaks in an effort to tell him to chill out. I saved the best fucking entry for last. Costco Rotisserie Chicken was a very odd user who was a very strange user in general despite being like 13 to 14. He was extremely horny. Just that's the best way to summarize him. I mean, he once sent a picture of that ghost dildo that became notorious for a while. I wish I could unsee that image.